Well, once you set, of course, a target is A, to keep it a priority, and B, to give a voice to those that actually want to push the agenda, that actually have the energy, that are inside the teams and are actually working with the teams. That's the two most important ones. And then the third one, as a challenge actually, is also creating an atmosphere where you can have the discussion. It's easy to end up in an environment, especially with lots of technical people that have all more or less the same background in terms of study, in terms of career path, which means they all think, for better or for worse, more or less similarly about certain things. And they may not necessarily have the language and the way to discuss these topics that are sometimes, well, not black and white, but more gray. And so you easily end up in a polarized environment. And I think that's a challenge as well, which we're trying to solve by bias trainings and other events where people learn how to talk about these topics in a way that is non-polarizing. I think that's an important challenge as well.
Mm-hmm. And if I may add, another challenge is people not always see what they can do, and they fall in the trap of seeing mainly what they can't do. So, for instance, looking at our gender targets that we've put, that they are saying, well, in our fields of study, we don't have 50% of female students, which is of course true, but that doesn't mean that we can do everything we can to have those women entering Imec, working for Imec, and also staying at Imec, so not leaving for the wrong reasons or not growing within Imec, and therefore this is something that is within our control to act upon. So yeah, that's also a very important challenge.
Yeah, latching on to that, perhaps, it's because it's also one of the examples of a polarizing discussion, is when you have, for example, a positive discrimination. Mm-hmm. Even in the groups that you would like to positively discriminate, there are pro and con that statement because they want to be recognized for who they are, not necessarily because they belong to a certain subgroup, mm-hmm. All right? And when you want to do positive discrimination, and if you come back to this, well, we don't have X% of the population actually studying STEM fields, talking about gender, right? There's not a 50% inflow, so you shouldn't do positive discrimination. On the other hand, I had a really good discussion with an external advisor a while back that says, well, maybe you don't need to positively discriminate on the hiring, but you can positively discriminate or at least create equality in the interviews. So what she suggested, in fact, was if you have an open position, try to at least interview as many men as women. You don't need to do the positive discrimination at the hiring stage, but at least try to make sure that you have a wide enough input gamut.
Yeah. So there is much more that you can do, actually.
Exactly.
And that we need to put our shoulders on.